What a beautiful day to begin with. Thank you so much for being with us. And today I'm going to review recently released a series, Heist. 3 stories, anthology, and 6 episodes, and you will really enjoy it. What an amazing performance by all the actors. I have given them sequential order according to my rating, and I feel like the second one is the best one because imagine that the guy is stealing money from the government just for the adoption of a child. So it's a 7 million 2005 drama, and it started with the Carls. So Carls, the guy from Cuba, and he's a immigrant and living in the US, and he's a very down to earth and very kind person, very hardworking, and met a girl from there, and especially met a girl who had a huge gang of boys around her, cousins, friends, and all those. And he knew he has to be very submissive and kind. He was a very good guy, and that's why they got along with very well, and then got married. And they were, because she really wanted to have a child, but what happened at the first, she was unable to give birth to first child, and then second time they were trying to do so also, and then again she was pregnant, and then again went to the doctor, and unfortunately that child didn't make it to the world. She was desperate to have children, and the Carls could not bear what her situation is, so they were thinking about adoption. For this thing they need a huge amount, and it's in grants like 20k or something. So where he will get this money? Imagine that you steal for your luxury or something, but this guy made desperate times calls for desperate measures, and thus it starts. One of his friends was working at the unloading or loading place closer to the plane, so he gave him a signal that there is a huge money that comes through the plane. And at the beginning, Carls was not giving attention to this, he didn't pay heed to it. But he went, disguised himself as a security, and went and see there is no security measures there. So it was very easy for him. Now there is a huge pile of dollars, and then he has to get a little pie out of the state money. But for this he needed to get a team. So he went to the guy who had been into this one. But that guy said, no, it's not my cup of tea, I'm not going to do that. So Carls went back, tried to keep on watching documentaries how he can do this, and he see similar stories also, learned his lesson and made up his plan. Beginner, not even a beginner also, never have done this also, he need a team. So he said, who should he approach it? So her wife, all the guys around her, they were more into these kind of things. So he come up with the plan with them, and they were saying, oh, this guy is going to do that. Really, they didn't thought of it. But once things started, they started their game, made up all the plan, and thus this game began. So the problem is not about their teamwork. There is a one black sheep in that. Operation went very well, everything was smoothly done, and it was very easy for them to get things done quickly. But at the beginning of that, they were really reluctant when they saw, you see, the cops. But imagine that all the agencies are very closer to that place, but they just escaped. But there is one person in the family who had a greed and lust for money and strip clubs and all this. Whereas Carls told that you are not supposed to spend this money. So someone from her own home started the mess. How they were detained, whereas others, they were not spending it. And what made Carls not to hurt others, but later he started hurting his own family member. You will really enjoy this series. Good to learn life lessons from it also. And another thing is also how they get away with it, even though he was detained. But how they go through all this, because I have seen in all these stories, if they are caught, they will serve the term but the money will never be recovered, and whatever you recovered will not be the full. And I think that's their mind set up, that okay, if you have done something, you break the law, for this you have a punishment, but if you serve the punishment, something you really need to keep it. All of them, they did this like this. So let's move what another story is. In order, this one is the third one, but I really like it because it's about liquid gold that they are going to steal it. It's a 2013, what this is, Pappy Van Winkle Bourbon liquor, because it was sold at that time in thousands of dollars, and people were buying it like it was a good brand. So Toby was a player, softball or maybe baseball at that time. I don't know. He got married and he has some duties now. And then he really need to do something that because the wife gave him a choice, me or your hobby. So you have to select one. So now he select one, sticking to the family. And now he is thinking about how to get the money. Got this bottle, gave it to his friends, and told them to sell it. The next day they came up with a huge cash, and they were surprised. How come this thing is being sold like this? So now they made a plan. How to steal this liquid gold and sell it in the market. So this time they are not stealing money. Their commodity is the barrels. They got it and they got away with it very well, and you will really enjoy this one. For family, they did it also. This is the second one. The first one is about Heather and Roberto. So Roberto is a guy who is already notorious, being into black magic and all this exorcism and something like this. He's a very creepy guy. So Heather just found this guy. It happens most of the time. If you are very kind, down to earth, good guy, girls will never ever come to you. But if you are a bad guy, definitely they will fall for it. Now she fell for this guy. She thought that she is in a different sky because she has never been loved the way she is loved by this guy. But sooner or later, whatever they were planning is, she was a pawn in this game. And there was a bigger piece behind her. And how the thing started, you will really enjoy it. And in this story also, she is driving a truck and she knows where the money goes and how she can grab the money. And Roberto just used all this, her roots and everything, and he was very serious about everything. Did his plan very well, used her and took her with the money, went away quickly. They were thinking that they can flood the states very easily. Once they reached to the Miami, and they were in the taxi driver told the guy, "Oh, you guys made it to this point? Wow." He was surprised. How come? So it means the news is already on the media. So now from there they have to escape. How they escape to a new country where they get the citizenship, the documents to live. But once she was pregnant, she knew that throughout all this journey, she was being used. It was very crystal clear once she landed at Miami or that beach area that there was someone very closer and younger than her, closer to Roberto. So Roberto fled with the money, wherever the money goes, doesn't know. And now this girl is all alone in the Netherlands, and she has to take care of a child. For his identity, for his future. It can go long, but once she knew that the document will expire within the span of 10 years, she has to make a choice. And the choices were never to see the child again. So in the end, it's good to learn a life lesson from all these anthologies, that whatever the situation is, you should not make the choices that will hurt your parents. That happened with in Heather, your family, your kids, your wife, and all those. Whatever happens, sometimes it's best to let the time play its part. Sooner or later, your struggle will gradually take you where you really wanted to be. Thank you so much for bearing me, and have a great week and take care of your loved ones and stay safe. Bye bye.